I really want to get in more exercise, but the only problem is that going for a walk or a jog can be so boring. So I need a unique way to make it more competitive and fun. So I created a mobile application that tracks the user's movement and loads it into a leaderboard where different users can compete with one another. But crucially, not the movement of the path they took. Oh no, no. This app tracks the route you take as the crow flies, and the leaderboard only displays entries that were made this day. This means that in order to stay on top, you need to leave the house. You can't just run around in circles in your backyard, and you need to do so frequently if you want to stay on top. Hello, and welcome to my demonstration for my assignment 2 of Internet of Things and Cloud Computing. So I made this application in the MIT App Inventor. You'll see it's opening here to where I am. You can move this map, you can zoom in, zoom out, do whatever. I'll click Start. You'll see now it shows the location where I am. If you click on the marker, it tells you the latitude and longitude. I'm gonna go move inside so that you can see how it works with you enter the end. Okay, so here we are inside. Gonna log in end. It says how far I traveled. It's not incredibly accurate, but it's okay enough. I'm just gonna enter in the name that I want to use. I'll say Adam. That's not my name, but I'll just say that, and then I'll say okay. Name, date, and how far you traveled in meters, all there. And I'll click submit this entry for today. It's been logged. Okay. Now let's go to the leaderboards. So it's going to take a second. Yeah, sorry. My mobile data just ran out in the middle of the demonstration, so I had to cut it. But anyway, here's the leaderboard. It shows the leaders, the what I just logged, Adam here, Henry, it was a name I entered in earlier. Here's Philip at the top. You can see it's in descending order, so we know who the person is that traveled the furthest distance. This is a fake distance. I entered a random, using the developer buttons that I discussed in the report. I entered in a random entry, and that's why this one is so ridiculously huge. Gonna press back. Now if I click on devs here, then it should just take a second, and we'll see that there's actually a lot more than just those entries, and also the date is stored as well in the Cloud DB. So here is an entry that I made a few days ago, and then one yesterday, and then here are a few that I made today, and then here is one that I made yesterday as well. So yeah, this is just to demonstrate that there is more than just the entries that I showed you, that the function of only showing the leaderboard for that day does work. That's the point of showing this. This, as it implies, clears the database. This adds an artificial entry, sorry. But I don't really want to do either of those things now. That's just for the developer options. And if we go back, you'll see it'll start me again here from where I am. Okay. And then I'll, yeah, well, thank you for watching. I'm gonna exit the app now. I designed this app in the MIT App Inventor and built the Android APK to get it on my phone as a standalone application. You would have seen the GUI design of the app itself during the demonstration that I just showed. as well as the other features that the app has. Now, this app uses DBaaS, or Database as a Service, in the form of a CloudDB component that logs the entries that the users make, as I showed in the demonstration. Here is the design of the database itself. You can see that I use a list to stuff two pieces of information into the value of each entry. Now, in the future, I think it might be worth renting my own server if I want to expand this application so that I can host this CloudDB on it with more storage. You're incredibly limited in terms of your storage and in terms of your scalability in the MIT App Inventor if you're not using your own server. So I think that this would be a good form of IaaS, or infrastructure as a service, to use in the app. I also use map services. Now, this is not technically a cloud-based service, but due to the MIT App Inventor's lacking cloud computing capabilities, I will describe it as if it were a cloud computing service. That way, I can still use it to illustrate certain cloud computing concepts. I do discuss this in the report itself. Now, there are quite a few of these concepts that are present. For example, the data persistence and retrieval that's in the location of the markers. See, the markers store the actual geolocation from the place that they were taken. And there's also integrated APIs that calculate the distance between the two markers. That's not a calculation that I did on my own. I use an API for that. Now, yeah, so this forms a very, very crucial part of the application, these map services. Now, in future development, I think it might be best if we implement the MIT App Inventor feature that allows you to embed web pages in the application. That way we might be able to use a web page that provides access to a more versatile location services API that might allow users to receive alerts when competition is nearby. In other words, the user won't just see their own markers on the map, they'll get to see the markers of other people who are close by, who are on their journey at the moment, and that will make the competition even more fun. Or at least that's the theory. Now, there is one last thing that I would like to discuss, and that is this devs screen. See, this screen shows all of the entries, not just the ones for today, so even the old ones, or possibly even the ones in the next day, if you're talking about different users in different time zones. But the problem with this screen is that it's available for anyone at the moment to press a button. I mean, the idea is that if I were to release the app, I would give a different version of the app that didn't have that button or this screen at all. But we could improve this in the future by adding in some kind of credentials that the user has to enter. I mean, if we use cloud authentication services, then we could actually still have this feature in there, but we could still have it protected in some way by a username and password, which will be verified using cloud authentication services. So that's the last thing that I wanted to talk about in the app that I think could be improved in the future. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching my presentation.